Introduce myself and talk about my story. So, at the moment, currently, I'm an award winning business owner, a board member, speaker. I advise Fortune 500 companies and I run three successful business. But what I wanted you to know is it wasn't always like this. This is not where I was a few years ago. And so, I'd like to take you through a quick journey about my story. So this is where it all started. As you can see, I was just tired of working hard and just working and working non-stop every day, just going to office and coming back, and that had become my life. The home to office and the office to home road, being stuck in traffic for hours and hours, and my life started to become a real drudgery. To add to that, I was always broke. So I used to wait for the month end to get my paycheck, and I literally lived from paycheck to paycheck, from month to month. And I suddenly realized that all the hard work that I did for the whole month, when I got paid, the money was out of my account in a day or two. That wasn't a very nice feeling because the feeling that it gave me was I was always in a job which is just over broke. And living paycheck to paycheck is really not fun because all you want to do is work hard the whole month, wait till the end of the month, you get your salary, the salary is out of your account, and you're back to square one without any money, feeling really poor and broke. Bills were piling up. No matter how much money we earned, no matter how much money I earned, and how much I grew in the organizations, I just felt my credit card bills were piling up, my loans were piling up, and bills were just becoming higher and higher and higher, whilst the salary wasn't being raised and going higher and higher and higher. And I was really, really, really tired of being in this situation. Tired of feeling poor, tired of feeling broke, tired of feeling like I needed to cry all the time because money was never enough, and I never had enough to even sustain myself or to even live a life of comfort that I wanted to. Tired of accumulated debts because that's what you do when money and salary is not enough. You start using your plastic money and you start accumulating a lot of debts. And so the credit card payments started to go higher, the loans and mortgages started to go higher. I had no money to manage all of these debts and accumulate enough to be able to clear myself of all of these debts. So I was feeling literally buried under debts. I was also tired of toxic bosses. So I tried to change a lot of organizations, a lot of companies, a lot of jobs, a lot of roles. And I've worked with some really big brand names in the market. And I always say that good people leave bad bosses, never leave good companies. So I always say that the companies that we work for are pretty good. It's just the bosses that are really toxic and really, really bad that push you over the edge. And so, boss after boss, I was really, really tired of having toxic bosses. Could life be any worse than that? Well, every morning I hated waking up. Every morning when my alarm rang, I just wanted to switch it off, snooze it, and keep going back to sleep, keep cuddling up in my bed. Hated to get up in the morning, hated to start a new day, just didn't want to get out, just didn't want to go through the day and face the day again with the life that I was going through. So, to summarize, I was tired of really working hard. I was tired of being broke. I was tired of just waiting for my salary at the end of the month and waiting for payday. I was tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. I was tired of bills piling up. I was tired of feeling poor. I was tired of accumulating debts. I was tired of toxic bosses. And I was just tired of being tired. And I said, hmm, that needs a change because if I'm tired of everything that's surrounding me at the moment in my life, then clearly I'm not living a life of my dreams and I need to take life into my own hands, my own situation into my own hands. And well, as fate would have it, reality hit. So one morning I went into a job at 9 o'clock, and at 9:30 I was told by my company and my boss that my services were no longer required and that I was fired. And at that point of time, I don't know if it was good or bad, but I felt like my whole life had fallen apart because all I knew was 30 years of holding a job, 30 years of corporate life, 30 years of a salary at the end of the month, 30 years of comfort feeling, working from one organization to another, and that's all I knew. And suddenly I felt lost. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I didn't know what my future was going to look like. And as you can see, on the day when I actually got fired, which was my last job ever, on the very same day I had turned 50 years old. And suddenly I find myself old, an elderly woman who's 50, in a market full of millennials, in a market where people require young, fresh ideas, young, fresh blood. And so I did what everybody does. I started to sit and I started to apply and look for more jobs, more toxic bosses, more whatever it is that I was tired of. Well, in the meantime, I was asked to pack my bags, take my things, leave whatever I had to what belonged to the organization, and just cut myself off from the organization and from the life that I knew all along. And this happened in 2018. Well, after that started my downward journey where there were a lot more expenses without any salary, without any income coming in. And I started to reach the, the tip of being bankrupt. So as my money started to dwindle in the account, I started to feel like I was going towards bankruptcy, to the extent that I was a mother of an 8-year-old at the time, and I felt I had to keep my son at home for a year because I did not have the money to pay his fees. That didn't really make me feel very good because as a mother, I was feeling like a real failure. Well, I was hoping, and what I wanted, the life that I wanted or started to dream of, was a life without debts. So, what I wanted was to be debt free. What I wanted was freedom of time. What I wanted was freedom to enjoy my life with my family, with my son that I love a lot. And I really did not have the time when I was in the corporate world. And that is something that I was dreaming of. I was dreaming of creating a wealth generator where I don't have to depend on anyone for my income, for my wealth. I wanted to be the creator of my wealth generator. I wanted freedom from debt, from freedom of time, freedom of money. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to be with my family, and I wanted to make a lot of money while doing that. But how do I do that? And so I started my research, and I came across this quote by one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, who says if your salary is your only source of income, you're one step away from poverty. And that hit me saying, this is so true. This is so true because my salary was at the time my only source of income. And once that was taken away from me, I had no identity. Once that company and that salary and the job was gone, I realized in this big bad world, I had no identity. Nobody knew me, I didn't know anybody. And there were no other means and sources for me to generate any kind of income whatsoever. So I started my journey and I started to look for mentors and I said, what should I do? And so I came across a mentor who was from a network marketing business. And I hadn't heard about network marketing at the time. But I did some research and I realized that network marketing was a really powerful business because it brings the best of two worlds together, the world of networking and the world of marketing. And without networking and without marketing today, no one can achieve anything in life. And so I started to meet my mentors in the industry who taught me the ropes. And I was very careful not to make the wrong move because getting involved with the wrong kind of person could actually mean disaster. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted a game changer. I wanted to meet somebody, I wanted to work with somebody who could actually change my entire life and my entire game. And that's exactly what happened. So I met one of my ex-colleagues who was in network marketing, and from there on I started my entrepreneurial journey. What did my journey look like? The very first thing I was explained was that if I wanted to achieve my dreams, I need to stop making excuses. If my dreams are bigger than my excuses, then that's when I would take action. And so I realized that the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is the speed of implementation. And I decided on the very same day that I'm not going to make excuses anymore and I'm going to do whatever it takes to change my life and I'm going to take control of my life and my future. The second lesson I learned was that instead of saying I'm too busy, when I say I'm too busy to do something, it's basically I'm just focusing on saying that I'm not a priority for myself. And I really wanted to prioritize myself. I did not want to second guess myself and I did not want to put myself down as the next option. And so I decided to start prioritizing what my needs are, what my future would be, what my dreams are. And so I realized that if I wanted to achieve the life that I wanted, and if I wanted to achieve the dreams, I will find a way to do it. impossible. The difference between impossible and possible is the word impossible. So I decided I was not going to find any excuses. In fact, I'm going to find a way to achieve my dreams. And so I realized that money and excuses don't go together. You can either make an excuse and you can get away from taking action, or you take action and you start making your money. You start generating your wealth. And I decided to choose money over excuses. So what was the next step for me? What did I want to do? I wanted to work so much in the beginning as an entrepreneur that I would never have to work again, never have to work later on in my life. I only wanted to work once, and I wanted to live those few years like nobody has lived before, and the next few years of my life like nobody can ever live that life again. So I started my entrepreneurial journey, and I realized that at the time when I'd set up my first business, I was really not an entrepreneur. I was a self-employed person. What I mean by a self-employed person was that I had left a 9 to 5 job to work 24/7 in my business. And I said it was in my business. It wasn't on my business. And so what happened is I ended up working very long hours, longer hours than I was in the corporate. And I had absolutely no time at all. And I still did not have the money. I still was working more hours for lesser money. And that was not the life I wanted. That was not the life I dreamed of. When I went into network marketing, I heard from my colleague and my mentor that what I was doing is I was just self-employed. I was working for myself. I wasn't really an entrepreneur. So that begs the question, how do I become an entrepreneur? How do I transition from being self-employed to becoming an entrepreneur? How do I change my life in business so I work only once and I never have to work again? And so I started my journey of systemizing automation, and I started bringing in certain elements where I realized that I needed to pivot in order to change my life and change my business. And so I started to build my network. I started to go out into the market. I was awarded by the Worldwide Association of Female Professionals for being an entrepreneur. And having achieved an 8-figure lifestyle, I now teach 8-figure lifestyle mastery, where I teach people how to 8x your wealth to 8x your lifestyle. And so what do I focus on to do that? I focus on a strategy which has 3 pillars: branding, speaking, and closing. These are the 3 most important skills that you would need in your life to succeed and to pivot to whatever place you want to be. If you can brand yourself, and if you can speak your story, and if you can close and pitch the way you should be, you will be a success, whether you're an intrapreneur or entrepreneur. So whether you're working in an organization, you want to continue in your job, or whether you're an entrepreneur, you're working in your business, and you want to start working on your business rather than in your business. It's these 3 pillars and these 3 strategy pillars that will actually take you to the next step. Thank you.